Hi again. Thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to do a continuation of the discussion, the video that I made yesterday, which was about a lot of anger that I was working with, and especially around it's like a kind of collective energy regarding the wounded feminine energy and the toxic masculine energy that so many of us are working with. It's really, prevalent on the planet right now. And yeah, I don't know if you watched that video, you're welcome to go check it out. I get kind of in depth into my process there, and I'm just I find that I really enjoy making these videos and just putting it out there. It's kind of like writing, talking through it and sharing it is really cathartic. And so yeah, and along those lines, I'm going to work on getting a different camera. I'm using the camera on my MacBook here, and it looks a little grainy. I don't know how it shows up for you, but anyways, I'm going to go to Goodwill today and see what I can find. I discovered that it's a really good place to get used electronics. I was about to order something off Amazon. I'm like, well, why don't I go check out Goodwill? So also good for the planet, to reuse, recycle, and it's just inexpensive. So good for your pocketbook too. So that's, where I got the book that I'm reading, and I'm going to go check out electronics. It's great for DVDs, those types of things. Why buy new? Anyway, that's a little side note. So yeah, if the lighting and such, I'm going to work on that because I am excited about making more videos. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I was working with a lot of anger yesterday and really moving that through. There's a lot of powerful astrology going on that's hitting my chart in specific places that are really dredging some stuff up that's ready to go. And it's been coming through and moving right through it, very conscious of my process at this point in the game. It didn't used to be so easy, but I have so many tools. I've been doing this for so long, like things tend to kind of rise up and kind of move through a lot quicker than they used to. I don't get stuck in some stuff so much. So the anger came up in a really big way, and I was just able to see it, repressed emotions, and like that came up, and I was just like, wow. It came with a lot of wisdom. It came with a lot of insight. It came with a lot of understanding. And, so I was able to, grab a pillow, beat on it, just write it out, and really just and sit with it and meditate with it, and talk to you all about it, and just so many tools to just move it through. We don't want to hold on to it. We don't want to keep repressing it. We don't want to try to bypass it. And this is what I said yesterday, just love and light all over the place. Like, no, this is we can be in positivity and be in the light while we're still working with our shadow, still working with those heavy things that come up, and with collective energies that we're all working through. It doesn't mean that we don't have to get lost in them, but we just work with them in a conscious way, because it's real. It's our part of our humanity. We don't get to just pretend that it's not there, and people can get lost in that and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be positive all the time. It's just like, I can be positive and live at a high vibration and still work with shadow, and it doesn't mean that I'm living in fear or being in anger all the time. It's just like it's working in a very healthy way with my entire being. There's polarity, there is shadow and light, there's it's all the things, masculine and feminine, healthy, wounded, it's polarity. There's opposite ends of the spectrum, and we are complex beings. There's so many energies running through us at any given time based on our own personal experience, the collective experience, the astrology, just humanity, our human experience. So we need to honor all of that and not go too far into either direction, try to work, a little more equanimity, and honor all of the parts of ourselves, honor all of the aspects of ourselves in a healthy way, So that's what we're doing here. So working through all of that, and by halfway through the day, I kind of moved out of the anger, and just had some really good perspectives on it, and felt really good about the whole process. And it was just like, and maybe I didn't, it was still there, but I didn't have to attach to it. I didn't have to identify it with the anger. It's just like, okay, here's these energies, and yes, that's part of my experience. That's fine. And I think that's a huge part of the spiritual path. It's a huge part of energy work and sound healing, learning to disidentify with these energies that are moving through us and just work with them in a much more positive way, a healthy way, a healthy way. It's not to bypass them. It's to, like, okay, here's these energies. If we don't work with them in a conscious way, if we don't use these tools to work with them, they run our lives, and it's really, really quite miserable to be unconsciously controlled by all of these myriad of energies that we're working with. So the more conscious we get of them, the more we utilize sound healing, energy healing, crystals, oracle cards, tarot, meditation, yoga, food, diet, nutrition, all of the ways that we can get in control of these energies and bring them into our conscious. And writing, talking with others, group work, there's so much. So yeah. Anyway, so partway through the day, I was definitely feeling, I had moved a lot of stuff. And just more wisdom coming through and more insights, and definitely a really big clearing. And then at the end of the night, I sat down to read my book. I not wrote about it, but I made a video about this book recently, The Power of Now. Still working with it. It's rich. It's freaking rich, and it's rocking my world. So it's not something that you speed read. You read a few pages and you take it in and digest it. It's just like, wow. So it was so funny because I didn't even know I was at this point of the book. But when I opened it up last night, I was at Dissolving the Collective Female Pain Body. I mean, really, I can't even make this stuff up, Had this amazing oracle card reading that brought all of this kind of stuff to the surface. That certain astrology is just right on my points, a couple of points on, I won't get into all the details, that are really dredging some stuff up. We're coming up to the solstice, lots of stuff going on, but really, and then all this anger around the female pain body. I wasn't utilizing that terminology, but the collective, the wounded feminine, really, and here it is, so all of these things, it's clearly time for me to be working through this at a new level right now. So but some of the things that I was trying to articulate in the video yesterday are right here in this book. It was just like, holy shoot, that's exactly what I'm working with. I mean, it's gorgeous. So I really wanted to share a little bit about it here. And I was going to read, because I really covered this yesterday in the video, and I just love how he sums it up here. So I wanted to read this paragraph to you. So identification, and he's talking about identification with the pain body, with the wounded feminine that I was talking about yesterday, and with that toxic masculinity, identification with that wounded feminine, or the female pain body is what he calls it here, prevents us from dealing with the pain body. Identification with it prevents us from dealing with it. Some women who are already conscious enough to have relinquished their victim identity on the personal level are still holding on to a collective victim identity, what men did to women. That's huge. That's exactly what I was talking about yesterday. And it is so important not to blame and resent and hold on to that. And that's what I was saying yesterday, but he just says it so beautifully and concisely here. And I know enough now. I've done so much work around this, and all of, like the program that I've created, and a couple of programs I've created, and the sessions and how I teach and guide people is all about taking responsibility. It's like, yes, all of these things happen. Yes, that's the energy we're working with. And now what? Do we want to stay stuck in it and like hold on to that? Which a lot of people do. They really identify with it, and they're angry and they're pissed off, and they want to hold on to that. They don't want to let it go, because then what? It's a lot easier to blame and be in resentment and anger than to just be like, okay, yep, And now I'm going to take responsibility for how I'm showing up, and I need to forgive and let go and work through it, and not forgive for them, but forgive for yourself, because that festers. You hold on to that anger and it just destroys. It destroys us from the inside out, and it's a really unpleasant existence. But I know a lot of people that are really attached to what's been done to them and what their experience was and their traumas, and that's their ego formation. Who would they be without it? And I get it. I'm not saying I don't. I fully empathize completely, and I have total compassion for that. I've been there myself. I was pissed off. I was angry at a lot of things, and I couldn't see through that. But once I could understand, like, letting go was ultimately what would bring me the freedom that I was seeking, and allow me to open up to that love and joy and harmony within myself, and not keep doing such destructive behaviors to myself, and step into that self-worth that I'm working through. And but yeah, so but on a personal level, we can do that. But then there's this bigger level, because I know we talk about, the patriarchy and all the things that have been done to women over thousands of years. I've talked about it myself, but it is really important not to get attached to that. It's just like, yes, that's true. All of those things are real. And now what? Now what do we do? How do we move forward without creating more separation, without creating more resentment, more blame, more anger, more separation? The masculine and feminine, it's a polarity. We're made of both of these energies. Our experience is both of these energies. To shun one or to shame one or cause more separation is only causing more separation within ourselves, so I think, and that's what I was trying to talk about yesterday when I was okay, let me get back to that, because he touches on what I'm about to say here. So okay, still holding on to a collective victim identity, what men did to women. They are right, and they are also wrong. Women, are right in as much as the collective female pain body is in large part due to male violence inflicted on women and repression of the female principle throughout the planet over millennia. Yes, they are wrong, women are wrong, if they derive a sense of self from this fact, and thereby keep themselves imprisoned in a collective victim identity. So important. If a woman is still holding on to anger, resentment, or condemnation, she's holding on to her pain body. This is what I was working with so much yesterday, when the pain body presented itself, and I was just like, oh, but I knew not to attached to it, or I was feeling resentment, but I was just like, okay, that's an expression of this anger, resentment towards men, towards my husband. But it was just like, okay, that's my own shit though. It actually has nothing to do with him. That's just how it's showing up for me right now, and I can recognize that and work with it in a healthy way, and let that go. I don't have to dive into that. That's just my wounded feminine showing up in that way, looking for somebody to blame, or something to hold on to. But I didn't have to go there. I didn't have to give that energy. I could just recognize it and go, yes, I see you, got it, that's not the reality, that's not real. I don't have to attach to that. Not real in a sense. It's not really a feeling, but it's not, I don't have to blame my husband. I don't have to blame the masculine, This may give her a comforting sense of identity, holding on to the pain body, of solidarity with other women. This is key for me. But it is keeping her in bondage to the past and blocking full access to her essence and true power. If women exclude themselves from men, there's that separation. That fosters a sense of separation, and therefore a strengthening of the ego. And the stronger the ego, the more distant you are from your true nature. Got some weird pop up here. Sorry, I'm going to clear that out. So that's the key right there. I was talking yesterday about getting in touch with my sexuality, and how women, what is going on here? It says, okay, sorry, my computer is being a little strange there. I hope I'm still recording. Talking about like going off and doing like a weekend retreat with other women and getting in touch with our sexual energy, and just getting all wild and letting it go, and but wanting to have a more full, authentic feminine expression or sexual expression on a daily basis, not just off away in a retreat with other women where it feels safe, so that is something. And I've taken part in some things with women where it's just been, there's a lot of anger, and what I was writing about yesterday, what did I call it? Like the angry power poetry, where women are just like and letting go of anger, and that's great. That's not a problem. That's not what I'm talking about. But I see other women just like really get on board with that, and really get into that place of more blame and resentment, and really build an ego formation and identity around that anger and around that like fighting back, and really getting into that. Do you know what I mean? And they're just angry, and you can see it inside. They're hard and resentful, pissed off, and that's not how I want to approach this. That's not how I want to work with this. Again, that's valid. I understand it, but it's not where I want to be in this. And I don't want to get into, like he says, into solidarity with other women around this pain body. So I've tried to be really careful myself, and I'm going to watch myself even better with the language that I use, because I know I've talked about the patriarchy and what the violence perpetrated against women, and these are all real things, but I'm going to be very conscious about not creating more separation, guys. I have been, but I think I can up my game a bit, because that's the last thing I want to do. We don't want to isolate and separate and cause more dysfunction within ourselves, and that's what that does when we like really latch on to the pain body. And the programs that I've created really help us to get into that. And it's just like, okay, yes, all these things happened, and now what? How do we work with that? How do we grieve it? I think the grieving is a really important piece, because again, we can't just bypass it and just skip around it and go, okay, yeah, I'm angry, and now what? We need to go into it. We need to spend some time with it, to bring it to the consciousness, to bring awareness, to understand it, to see if we continue to leave it down there and don't work with it and just try to skip around it, it's gonna come out sideways. It's just, that's not real healing, so we need to bring it to our consciousness, address it, get the tools to work through it, and it's an ongoing process, and we need to grieve. I think the grief is a really important piece, because there's been a lot of loss. We've lost a lot of ourselves, and that's just real. It doesn't mean we have to attach to it. We don't have to go into victim mentality around it, but honor it. Yes, all those energies, let's grieve that. Let's give it some time to just be like, wow, there's been a lot of loss. Yes, that's real. That's true. And now what? And now what? Let's honor it, give it attention, care for it, learn how to care for ourselves when these energies are coming up, because it's deep. It's deep, it's deep, it's deep. And it goes back for generations and generations and generations. So we're not going to just clear this in a program. It's going to be an ongoing, and that's what my programs do, is they teach you a lot of tools to work with this, to continue to deep dive into it when it arises, when it comes up. How do we work with this in a healthy, conscious way, and not go into victim mentality and not get stuck in our shit? That doesn't mean there's just so many ways to work with this, and I don't want to minimize it at all. That is not it. This is very important. These are huge energies. This collective pain body is ginormous. Our own personal pain body is important, but but yeah, just working with it in a healthy, conscious way. And so I'm just so excited about this paragraph. It was great. So I was excited to share that with you. Yeah, we can't identify with this pain body and get lost in that. So I'm just excited to be sharing about this, to be talking about this. I thought this was great timing for this to show up. I don't know that I have a lot more to say about it. I think I got it there. Yeah, I'm just thrilled to be doing this work and for the ongoing learning, the ongoing wisdom that keeps coming up. The sun is conjunct the galactic center today, so that's just like feels like a real fresh energy. The sun is a masculine energy, and the galactic center is in Sagittarius, which is also a masculine energy, and it's it's a higher consciousness. It's a galactic cosmic consciousness. So with the sun getting new information from that galactic center, it feels like an elevation of the masculine energies. And so I'm utilizing it today to really like, okay, let's clear out, let's continue to release that unhealthy toxic masculine and the wounded feminine, and open to the empowered higher masculine expressions and consciousness, because again, we're made of both of these energies. I have a lot of masculine energy in me that's really kind of taken over the feminine, because that's just the society we live in. So I'm really always working to bring the two back into balance, and a big part of that is healing the wounded feminine, so that my masculine isn't just like running amok and too much. So yeah, and I talked about that quite a bit yesterday too. I believe, just healing the feminine energies, and allowing it more safety and expression. My masculine needs to step back and allow for the feminine, and just hold space for that. So I'm continuously learning how to do that. We can be aware of these things. It doesn't mean it's just all like fixed and like, okay, I'm aware of that, so now it's good. But it's an ongoing process. So again, all the tools, all that we're doing here really helps us to work with this and work through it together and bring awareness to all of it. So thank you again for being here. It seemed like I felt like I had one more thing to say, but I don't know, just happy sun conjunct the galactic center day to you. A solstice is coming up on Wednesday. That's going to be very exciting. And then we have a new moon in Capricorn. And then Christmas for those who celebrate that holiday. Yeah, it's a big week, a lot of really big energies. So yeah, I highly encourage listening to some astrology around for the solstice energies, to understand more about what's going on in our energy field, and the new moon in Capricorn. If I remember, I'll try to put some links below to some astrologers that I really like, and yeah, check those out. And if you have astrologers that you like, please do share them. I love astrology. So if there's also a solstice thing I was going to take part of, so I'll try to remember to include the link to that as well. It's a free kind of like solstice activation with this really lovely woman, Lori Rising, and I think she's just really got some great stuff she's putting out and doing. So I'm excited about that. And also there's a channeling thing I'm doing on the solstice that's also free. So I'll try to remember to put the links in there. So check that out. And thank you again for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, share your resources. I'm always excited to learn new things. Check out my website for programs, sessions, all the things that I've got going on. I will be offering those again soon. I'm still kind of in a downtime right now while we're the shuttle bus is in the shop. So, but we'll be back on the road soon. I imagine probably within a week or so. So we'll be offering sessions again soon, and the program will be starting within the next few months probably. So keep an eye out for that. Sign up on my email list if you're interested. It's a 6-week program deep diving into the wounded feminine, but it's utilizing writing. There's sound and energy healing sessions each week to really work with the energy body to clear that out. group sessions every week. But really ritual, there's ritual every week, and a real amazing death ceremony at the end, like Phoenix Rising, really releasing the old wounded feminine, stepping into the empowered feminine energies for yourself. So yeah, it's a gorgeous program. So yeah, check that out. And I'll be back with the next thing that pops up and I'm inspired to share about. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and happy solstice to you. Happy holidays to you. Happy December to you. Happy end of the year. Oh my gosh, we're like almost done with 2022. Wow. Yay, that's exciting. This next year promises to be a pretty freaking powerful one. So thanks all. Bye to you.